Question 1. Who is primarily responsible for managing, ordering, and making the product backlog visible to all stakeholders? A. The development team. B. The Scrum Master. C. The product owner. D. The project manager. Answer: C. The product owner. The product owner is solely responsible for managing the product backlog, including its content, order, and ensuring it is accessible and understood by everyone. This role is crucial for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. For instance, if new features are requested or market conditions change, the product owner decides their priority and ensures they are added to the backlog in the right place. Remember, the product owner is the voice of the customer and stakeholders within the Scrum team. Question 2. What is the main purpose of the daily Scrum? A. To report progress to the Scrum Master. B. To discuss problems and assign tasks for the day. C. To inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog if necessary. D. To review the completed work from the previous day. Answer: C. To inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog if necessary. The daily Scrum is a 15-minute time-boxed event for the development team to synchronize activities and create a plan for the next 24 hours. Its primary goal is to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adjust the sprint backlog as needed to optimize the likelihood of achieving that goal. For example, the team might realize they need to reprioritize some tasks or collaborate more closely on a specific item to stay on track. This meeting fosters self-organization and accountability within the development team. Question 3. What is the maximum recommended time box for a sprint retrospective for a 1-month sprint? A. 1 hour. B. 2 hours. C. 3 hours. D. 4 hours. Answer: C. 3 hours. The sprint retrospective is time-boxed to a maximum of 3 hours for a 1-month sprint. For shorter sprints, the event is usually shorter. This event provides an opportunity for the Scrum team to inspect itself and create a plan for improvements to be enacted during the next sprint. For instance, if a team has been struggling with slow code reviews, the retrospective is where they discuss this issue and commit to a new process for the next sprint. Always remember that the purpose is continuous improvement, not just complaining. Question 4. Which of the following is not a core responsibility of the Scrum Master? A. Facilitating Scrum events as requested or needed. B. Ensuring the development team is fully utilized and highly productive. C. Helping the product owner find techniques for effective product backlog management. D. Coaching the development team in self-organization and cross-functionality. Answer: B. Ensuring the development team is fully utilized and highly productive. The Scrum Master acts as a servant leader and coach, supporting the Scrum team and organization, but they do not manage the development team's productivity or utilization in a traditional sense. The development team is self-organizing and manages its own work. For example, a Scrum Master would help remove impediments that slow the team down, but they wouldn't dictate how much work each developer must complete. Think of the Scrum Master as a guide who helps the team become more effective, not a manager who assigns tasks. Question 5. What does definition of done primarily ensure in Scrum? A. That the product owner accepts all completed work. B. That all completed product backlog items meet a consistent standard of quality. C. That the sprint backlog is always up to date. D. That the Scrum team has met the sprint goal. Answer: B. That all completed product backlog items meet a consistent standard of quality. The definition of done is a formal description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures required for the product. It ensures transparency and a shared understanding of what done means for the Scrum team and stakeholders, guaranteeing that every completed item adheres to the same quality bar. For example, a done item might mean it's coded, tested, documented, and integrated. This clarity helps the team deliver a consistently valuable and usable increment at the end of each sprint. Question 6. What is the primary output of the sprint planning event? A revised product backlog. B. An updated sprint goal and sprint backlog. C. A detailed project plan. D. A list of identified impediments. Answer: B. An updated sprint goal and sprint backlog. Sprint planning results in a sprint goal, which defines the objective of the sprint, and a sprint backlog, which is the set of product backlog items selected for the sprint plus the plan for delivering them. These two artifacts guide the development team's work during the sprint. For example, if the sprint goal is implement user authentication, the sprint backlog would contain all the specific tasks needed to achieve that. This commitment from the development team is essential for focus and predictability. Question 7. Who is responsible for tracking the remaining work for the sprint? A. The product owner. B. The Scrum Master. C. The development team. D. The project manager. Answer: C. The development team. The development team is solely responsible for tracking the remaining work within a sprint to ensure they can meet the sprint goal. They use the sprint backlog to monitor their progress and make adjustments as needed. For instance, if they realize a task is taking longer than expected, they might reprioritize or re-estimate other items within the sprint. This self-management is a core principle of Scrum, empowering the team to control its own destiny within the sprint. Question 8. When is it permissible to change the sprint goal? A. At any time, if the product owner deems it necessary. B. Only during the daily Scrum with team consensus. C. The sprint goal should remain constant throughout the sprint, though the scope might be clarified. D. If the development team identifies a major impediment. Answer: C. The sprint goal should remain constant throughout the sprint, though the scope might be clarified. The sprint goal is a commitment made by the Scrum team during sprint planning and should remain stable throughout the sprint to provide focus. While the development team may negotiate the scope of the sprint backlog with the product owner as they learn more, the overall sprint goal should not change. For instance, if the goal is implement user login, the specific tasks might adapt, but the goal itself stays. This stability allows the team to focus on a clear objective and deliver value. Question 9. What is the role of management outside the Scrum team in Scrum? A. To direct the development team's daily work. B. To remove organizational impediments. C. To perform detailed project planning. D. To provide direct oversight of the Scrum Master. Answer: B. To remove organizational impediments. Management outside the Scrum team plays a crucial role in supporting Scrum by removing organizational impediments that are beyond the Scrum team's ability to resolve. They also help in configuring the system and environment for effective Scrum adoption. For example, if the team needs a new software license that only management can approve, it's their responsibility to facilitate that. Their role is to enable the Scrum team to be effective, not to micromanage their work. Question 10. Which of the following Scrum values emphasizes courage to do the right thing and tackle tough problems? A. Commitment. B. Focus. C. Openness. D. Courage. Answer: D. Courage. The Scrum value of courage emphasizes the bravery needed to do the right thing, to work on difficult problems, and to be transparent about challenges without fear. It means having the guts to admit when you're stuck, ask for help, or tell stakeholders that a feature is more complex than initially thought. For example, a team member demonstrating courage would speak up in a retrospective about a process that isn't working, even if it's uncomfortable. This value is fundamental for continuous improvement and honest communication. Question 11. What artifact represents the sum of all product backlog items completed during a sprint and the value of the increments of all previous sprints? A. The product backlog. B. The Sprint Backlog. C. The Increment. D. The Sprint Goal. Answer: C. The Increment. The increment is the sum of all product backlog items completed during a sprint and the value of the increments of all previous sprints. It is a concrete step toward the product goal and must be in a usable condition regardless of whether the product owner decides to release it. For example, if a team completes a new search function and a bug fix in a sprint, the usable, tested code for both makes up the increment. This is the tangible, valuable outcome of each sprint. Question 12. Who is responsible for ensuring the Scrum process is understood and enacted? A. The product owner. B. The development team. C. The Scrum Master. D. The project manager. Answer: C. The Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is responsible for promoting and supporting Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide. They do this by helping everyone understand Scrum theory, practices, rules, and values. For instance, if a team member is trying to skip the daily Scrum, the Scrum Master would remind them of its purpose and importance. The Scrum Master acts as a coach and facilitator, ensuring the team stays true to the Scrum framework. Question 13. How does the Scrum team estimate the effort for product backlog items? A. Estimates are provided by the product owner based on business value. B. The Scrum Master provides estimates based on team velocity. C. The development team collectively estimates the effort for items they will work on. D. Estimates are derived from historical data by a project manager. Answer: C. The development team collectively estimates the effort for items they will work on. The development team is responsible for providing the estimates for product backlog items. They are the ones who will do the work, so they are best positioned to estimate the effort required. Techniques like planning poker are often used to facilitate this collective estimation. For example, when considering a new feature, the developers would discuss its complexity and agree on a size, rather than having an estimate dictated to them. This collaborative approach fosters commitment and accuracy. Question 14. What happens if the development team realizes during a sprint that they will not be able to complete all selected product backlog items? A. The Scrum Master should reassign tasks to ensure completion. B. The product owner should remove the lowest priority items from the sprint backlog. C. The development team should negotiate with the product owner to select and remove some items from the sprint backlog. D. The sprint should be immediately cancelled. Answer: C. The development team should negotiate with the product owner to select and remove some items from the sprint backlog. If the development team discovers they cannot complete all planned work, they should collaborate with the product owner to renegotiate the scope of the sprint backlog. The sprint goal should remain intact, but the specific items might be adjusted to ensure a valuable increment can still be delivered. For instance, if unforeseen technical challenges arise, the team might suggest deferring a less critical feature. This transparent communication and flexibility are key to Scrum's adaptability. Question 15. What is the product backlog? A. A fixed, unchanging list of features for the product. B. A prioritized list of all the work to be done in a project. C. An emergent, ordered list of what is needed to improve the product. D. A list of tasks assigned to each development team member. Answer: C. An emergent, ordered list of what is needed to improve the product. The product backlog is an emergent, ordered list of what is needed to improve the product. It is the single source of work to be done by the Scrum team. It is dynamic, constantly evolving as new information is learned, and items are refined and reprioritized. For example, new market trends might lead to new items being added, or existing items being reordered based on feedback. Always remember, the product backlog reflects the current understanding of what will maximize value. Question 16. During the sprint review, who demonstrates the work that has been done? A. The product owner. B. The Scrum Master. C. the development team. D. Any stakeholder. Answer: C. The development team. During the sprint review, the development team demonstrates the work they have done and answers questions about the increment. This hands-on demonstration allows stakeholders to see the progress firsthand and provide valuable feedback. For instance, if a new user interface has been implemented, the developers would show how it works and explain any design choices. This active involvement by the team promotes transparency and ownership of the delivered work. Question 17. What is the primary reason for a sprint to be cancelled? A. The development team is unable to meet the sprint goal. B. The product owner determines the sprint goal has become obsolete. C. The Scrum Master finds too many impediments. D. The stakeholders are unhappy with the progress. Answer: B. The product owner determines the sprint goal has become obsolete. A sprint can be cancelled only by the product owner if the sprint goal becomes obsolete. This might happen due to a major shift in company direction, market conditions, or technology. For example, if the company decides to pivot to a completely different product, the current sprint aimed at the old product might be pointless. Sprint cancellation is a rare and serious event, as it causes significant disruption and resource waste. Question 18. What does transparency mean in the context of Scrum? A. All Scrum team members must share their personal goals. B. Significant aspects of the process must be visible to those responsible for the outcome. C. Project plans must be shared with all external stakeholders. D. All meetings must be open to everyone in the organization. Answer: B. Significant aspects of the process must be visible to those responsible for the outcome. Transparency in Scrum means that significant aspects of the process and the resulting product must be visible to those responsible for the outcome. It means establishing a common and shared understanding of what is being done. For instance, the product backlog and increment should be clear and understandable to everyone, so there are no hidden surprises. This shared understanding reduces misinterpretation and enables quick inspection and adaptation. Question 19. Which Scrum event is specifically designed to inspect the Scrum team's performance and continuously improve? A. Sprint planning. B. Daily Scrum. C. Sprint review. D. Sprint retrospective. Answer: D. Sprint retrospective. The Sprint Retrospective is the event specifically dedicated to inspect how the last sprint went with regards to individuals, interactions, processes, and tools, and to plan improvements for the next sprint. This is where the Scrum team reflects on what went well, what could be improved, and creates actionable plans. For example, if team communication was an issue, they might decide to try a new communication tool in the next sprint. It's all about becoming more effective and enjoyable for future sprints. Question 20. Who is responsible for ensuring that the development team is cross-functional? A. The product owner. B. The Scrum Master. C. The development team itself. D. The functional managers. Answer: C. The development team itself. The development team is responsible for being cross-functional, meaning they collectively possess all the skills necessary to create an increment. They are self-organizing and manage their own composition and skill development. For example, if the team realizes they lack expertise in a certain area, they might collaboratively learn it or seek to add a team member with that skill. The Scrum Master coaches them on this, but the ultimate responsibility lies with the team. Question 21. What is the typical duration of a sprint? A. At least 1 month. B. 2 to 4 weeks. C. As long as it takes to complete all product backlog items. D. A maximum of 8 hours per day. Answer: B. 2 to 4 weeks. Sprints are typically time-boxed to a maximum of 1 month, and often shorter, typically 2 to 4 weeks. They are consistent, fixed-length events that occur consecutively, providing regularity and predictability. For instance, a team might choose a 2-week sprint cycle and stick to it for all their sprints. Shorter sprints generally allow for more frequent feedback and adaptation, which is beneficial for complex product development. Question 22. What is an impediment in Scrum? A. A bug in the software. B. A task that a development team member cannot complete alone. C. Anything that slows down the development team's ability to achieve the sprint goal. D. A feature request that the product owner rejects. Answer: C. Anything that slows down the development team's ability to achieve the sprint goal. An impediment is anything that blocks or slows down the development team's progress in achieving the sprint goal. This could be anything from a technical issue, like a server being down, to an organizational barrier, like lack of necessary software licenses. The Scrum Master's role is to help the team remove these impediments. For instance, if the team needs access to a specific tool, but they can't get it, that's an impediment the Scrum Master would address. Question 23. What does self-organizing mean for the development team? A. They organize their own physical workspace. B. They manage their own internal processes, priorities, and work. C. They choose which Scrum events to participate in. D. They decide when to release the increment. Answer: B. They manage their own internal processes, priorities, and work. Self-organizing means that the development team decides how best to accomplish the work and manage themselves within the framework of Scrum. They are empowered to choose how to best build the increment, rather than being directed by others. For example, they decide which team member works on which task, how to divide the work, and what specific technical practices to use. This autonomy fosters creativity and ownership, leading to more effective solutions. Question 24. Who ensures that the product backlog items are clear, concise, and understandable? A. The Scrum Master. B. The development team. C. The product owner. D. All members of the Scrum team, collaboratively. Answer: C. The product owner. While all members of the Scrum team can contribute to product backlog refinement, the product owner is ultimately accountable for ensuring that product backlog items are clear, concise, and understandable. This is crucial for the development team to accurately estimate and complete the work. For instance, a product owner might work with a developer to clarify acceptance criteria for a new feature. Remember, clear requirements are fundamental for building the right product. Question 25. What is the benefit of having a time-boxed sprint? A. It guarantees that all product backlog items will be completed. B. It helps in measuring the productivity of individual team members. C. It ensures regular inspection and adaptation opportunities. D. It allows for flexible deadlines to accommodate scope changes. Answer: C. It ensures regular inspection and adaptation opportunities. Time-boxing sprints ensures that there are regular, predictable opportunities for inspection and adaptation of the product and the process. Each sprint provides a fixed rhythm for planning, executing, reviewing, and reflecting, fostering continuous improvement. For example, if a team has 2-week sprints, they know every 2 weeks they will review their work and discuss how to improve their process. This fixed cadence brings predictability and minimizes risk.